We were bored on a Friday night. We decided to sit around and start programming stuff. We named after Morris. He's the Joker of the
Everybody, welcome back to the Wayback Chronicles podcast, where we celebrate everything from the 1970s to the current year. I'm Steve, and I'm back with my good friends Noel and Keith.
And to kick off the 1988 years, we have decided to start with everybody's favorite topic, and that is pop culture of that era. We're going to start a little bit, turn it over to Noel. Tell us a little bit about the pop culture of 1988 that we can discuss today.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that happened in 1988. Pop culture, if you're not familiar with this topic, we've drawn this topic a couple times out of the hat. It's basically kind of like a miscellaneous, kind of a grab bag of events and activities, things that just happen in 88 that aren't necessarily like some of these are historical things. Some of them are just things that happen. Little things, big things, everything kind of in between. So anyway, we're just going to dive into this. But first of all, 1988, what was going on was there was a U.S. presidential election, and this was the end of the Reagan two terms. He was president from 1980 to 88, and so this was his vice president was George H.W. Bush. So this is George Bush Sr. Was Reagan's vice president, and he was running. He ran against the Democrats. Offered up Michael Dukakis, who was the governor of Massachusetts. I don't know if he was the current governor or the former governor. I can't remember. But do you guys remember? Was he Dukakis?
I think he was former.
Okay,
I think he was. Yeah.
I thought so too. I thought he used to be he was a former governor of Massachusetts. But anyway, they ran against each other. Bush won. He captured 426 electoral votes, carried 40 states of 50, which is a lot.
Massive.
Yeah. And then Dukakis received the 111 electoral votes in 10 states plus DC. So it was not close, we'll say. But I don't know if you guys remember, there was an image that the Dukakis campaign pushed out there to, make him look tough on war, make him look like a, military guy, because George H.W. Bush was a World War II vet. And he'd served in the CIA. I mean, he was kind of a military guy. And I think that Dukakis campaign was like, we need to give him. Yeah, Keith is showing the image. We may post this on the Facebook page, but it was kind of what they did is they put Dukakis in an M1 Abrams tank, and it backfired big time on Dukakis, and it's become as Dukakis in the tank is kind of shorthand for a public relation nightmare. So. You guys remember that? Well, Keith just showed us that picture, but he looks so tiny and like out of place. I don't know how to explain it. If you haven't seen the image, it's definitely worth a Google, but
it was very contrived and just, it literally is embarrassment for him.
Yeah.
And, you can definitely tell when things are true and when things are absolutely staged. Mm-hmm. And this thing is absolutely staged. It probably did more harm than good.
Yeah, no,
100%.
It was this image that they were hoping to have one effect and had the absolute opposite effect. But anyway, anything you guys found in your research that about pop culture?
Yeah, it really just related to George H.W. Bush is I can't think of him without thinking of the Saturday Night Live skits that came out during this time, specifically Dana Carvey. Not gonna die.
1,000
points of light.
Got a deck.
Yeah, 1,000 points of light, and it just people say those were like the glory days of SNL. And,
100%.
What a great cast during that show, and I think SNL was what connected us to the pop culture events going on during our early adulthood and early I guess late teens and. Always a great show. Never missed Saturday Night Live during this time.
No, that cast back in those times was amazing, absolutely amazing. So
it really was. I think the thing that got me excited was, and especially now that I'm in a town that doesn't have one, was the first Walmart Supercenter opening in Wheeler, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So general merchandise of a typical Walmart plus a full scale supermarket to provide one-stop shopping convenience. You know what I'm talking about. So
yeah. Do you remember, you guys remember the first time you ever walked to a Walmart Supercenter? Because I do.
I do.
Yeah.
I was like, how does this building's middle stay up?
It was so massive. Like you could get on the far left wall and you couldn't see the far right wall. It is so bigger. It's so much bigger than anything I'd ever seen at that point. But
I mean, we used to look at play a little game like, I wonder if they sell this here or not. So we try to come up with an item that they didn't sell, and they sold it.
Yeah,
because I know they've pared back their assortment a little bit now, but it was great. I mean, they literally had everything.
Yeah,
we should do that. We should post with this episode a Walmart scavenger hunt for the most random thing somebody can post for a prize.
That's a good idea. I think
we should do it.
What's the most random thing you could find at Walmart?
Yes. So Steve, as the administrator, you can start a thread, and we will have people post the most random things they found at Walmart, and we'll pick our favorite for a swag little appreciation token.
Yeah. So while we're talking,
that'd be funny.
that would be awesome. While we're talking about kind of retail and stores, McDonald's hit a milestone in their development too. They opened their 10,000th restaurant in Del City, Virginia, which today they have over 40,000 across the globe. So that's a lot of growth from 1988 to 2023. That's 30,000 places that they've opened in that span of time, which I don't know. 10,000th restaurant in Del City, Virginia. We think of them now as they're all over the place because they are, but back then only 10,000. Only 10,000 back in the day. But I thought that was kind of interesting too. So, anything, Steve?
No, I mean, just I had these notes for the TV and movies, but you forget that Wrigley. There was a time where Wrigley Field didn't have lights in the stadium, and so it was crazy. This is a year. I mean, it seems like it was much longer than this, but 1988 is when until August 8th. They played their first night game. August 8th, 1988.
And I remember they like the commentators dressed up in tuxedos and stuff. Like they did it right. Like it was a big deal. I wasn't watching baseball every night back in '88, but I do remember seeing that come on like the nightly news. Like it was a big news event that they had lights on the stadium and stuff.
Yeah, the baseball purists didn't like it.
Yeah,
that was a big deal.
And so, of course, I've been to Wrigley. I don't know if two of y'all have. But
I have.
It really is walking into a shrine.
Yeah.
We walk out from the concourse, or whatever they call that area, up into the stands, and you see the field. I mean, it's just beautiful.
It is.
And so, I mean, I can see why the purists, weren't upset about changes to Wrigley.
Yeah. Underneath the stands, it's like the original baseball park as it was is still there. And like the concourse it's very narrow. They've not done anything really to change it much at all. So like when I went, I got seats like right behind home plate, and because I wanted to get that whole experience of being like right there underneath the beams and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it is, if you're a baseball fan and you haven't gone to Wrigley, you definitely need to go, because it's really something. So
yeah.
But
that's interesting. I'm reading a little article about the lights of 1988. They almost prevented them from having World Series there.
Really? Because of the lights?
Yeah, right here. A quote. The quote from Green was, "The Chicago Cubs will not be able to play its World Series home games in Chicago this year because of the light situation at Wrigley Field. It is also possible that our league championship games will also be moved." Pretty crazy.
Wow. There's some some people that had their feelings hurt about. They were very, like you said, Steve. They were very upset that they changed it.
Yeah, I mean that's the power of primetime TV right there. I mean, it's the advertising dollars is probably the main thing that drove that decision.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Well, and carry forward to 2023. This year, Wrigley Field, I'm looking here, got the new LED lights that does all of the dancing and moves along with the music and everything. So now we're going from just getting lights to the whole experience, like you're talking about, Noel. What sells the most seats? You know,
crazy, very true.
Man, is there a bigger icon when you think about the Cubs and Harry Carey?
And, oh my gosh, no.
You know, holy cow, I'm a Bud man.
Yeah.
Commercials like, I'm a Cubs fan and I'm a Bud man.
1988 was the year that Rush Limbaugh started his conservative talk show.
Oh, wow. Really?
Wow.
Yeah. That was, man, that kind of, talk about a shift in world politics, or at least in national politics, whenever that started, because man, you started a whole, now you don't think of, I mean, AM radio has changed dramatically. I mean, every channel has got some talk on it. Some conservative talk conservatives really kind of dominate the airwaves on the AM dial for sure. But 1988 is when he started his talk show.
The EIB network, right?
Yeah. Behind the golden
microphone
of one half of my brain tied behind my back to make it fair.
That's crazy. You know, here's another thing, and I think you might have mentioned this. No, you might want to speak to it, but this was the year that the Doppler radar was invented. Wasn't it?
Yeah. That's that's right. This is Doppler radar. You don't think about it, but it's a big part of our lives. I mean, it
was mine on the highway today. I just say,
yeah. Doppler radars, Doppler radars are used for aviation. They're used for sounding satellites. They're used for Major League Baseball. We were just talking about baseball. They use it for their StatCast system. Of course, meteorology. We're all familiar with that application. Like when we're watching the news and stuff and see the weather. It's telling you like when clouds are moving in, all that kind of stuff, and can tell you the intensity of storms coming in, all that kind of stuff. And then of course the radar guns, like, you know, that cops use and things like that too, is also Doppler. So it's quite a big invention that hit in 1988. And then just think about how much of a part of our lives it is these days. It's pretty amazing. So.
Absolutely is.
But
so, I really thought it was a lot older than that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Steve said about the lights at Wrigley. It didn't seem like it's that recent that this radar system came into being. But
totally.
Yeah. Have you ever played lawn darts?
Yes. I remember as a kid having some lawn darts. My mom bought them for me. Have y'all? Keith?
I did. Yes, I did. I remember playing it and then it going into the boring rubber nub instead of the spike, right?
Yeah. That's
I've never been exposed to the danger of lawn darts, and apparently, you know, the government found it was important in '88 to ban the sale of lawn darts because they killed, you know, they led to some children deaths, and which is super sad. But
3 kids, right?
Yeah,
got killed by.
Children. Yeah,
God, that's sad.
Yeah,
and I can see how it could happen because they were at least the first iteration of that was not very safe looking. I mean,
I mean,
be honest,
toss a weapon up in the air and
it comes
what's
down.
Gonna happen?
Yeah, with people standing near the target area. Yeah.
Look out, Tex! That reminds me of the movie Grown Ups. Have you all seen Grown Ups, where he shoots the arrow in the air? It's
yes,
and they all scatter.
Yeah.
That goes back to the whole Saturday Night Live cast, right? So
yeah,
you know, but oh man, yes. And then Rob Schneider gets it stuck in his toe. It made me think of that.
Yeah, that's funny. That was funny. Yeah. I thought another interesting thing was that in April 23rd, 1988, Reagan signed the bill banning smoking on all domestic flights that had duration of 2 hours or less. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I am so glad that there's no smoking on flights, man.
Totally.
Oh gosh,
Totally.
I cannot stand the smell of smoke. And it started with, I'm sure it probably started with, hey, we'll just ban it on the short flights. Just, kind of cope with it. You smokers, like, just hold it over or whatever. And
Right.
it was kind of a stepping stone into all out ban on all flights, no matter the duration, kind of thing. But yeah,
I vividly remember flying and seeing like just the cabin filled with a plume of smoke. Do you all remember this at all?
I do.
I didn't fly for the first time until my senior year in high school. I was to Lubbock
Really?
for University Day in the spring. And so, but I remember smoking was banned at that time, but walking through the airport, you could still smoke in the restaurants and stuff. But I remember that they still had the ashtrays in the airplanes, like, but you just couldn't use them.
Yeah.
And so I do remember that being part of it.
Yep. Yeah, I do too. That's one of those things, like, it's just part of our world these days. We don't even think about, but yeah, there was a time, and I tell my kids, like, there was a time when you could smoke on a flight, and there was smoking on a flight, and they're like, no way, really? Yeah, it was a thing.
Shoot. I mean, that restaurant, I mean, anywhere. I mean, you think about how common all of smoking was on everything. And I mean, it would be shocking to go. I remember we went into a restaurant when it was Mancation. And when y'all were playing golf, we went into this little restaurant in the little town we were camping at. And it was like the front side was non-smoking and the back side was smoking. And it was like, going back into that backside, like, was transformational. Like, I went through a time machine.
Yeah,
it was so wild. I was like, I vividly remember this smell, the haziness. It's like, wow, it just blows my mind. You just don't do that anymore.
Nope, you don't.
You know what else they should ban on planes?
What's up?
Chicken.
Fried chicken. Yes. Thank you. And
I don't even know the story. Got to tell the story.
Yeah, I'll tell you the story behind this. So when I lived in Juneau, Alaska, we had to fly to Anchorage at times for work, and or vice versa. And well, Juneau doesn't have any fried chicken places. So Anchorage has a Popeye's chicken, and we all know that's probably the best fried chicken out there. We can argue about it, but that's probably the best, the original best, I guess. And anyway, so Juneauites, they would load up on bags full of fried chicken, and that would be their carry-on luggage. And and while I love me some fried chicken, I don't like smelling someone else's fried chicken for a 3-hour flight, because that just like permeates your clothes and everything. So I'm calling President Biden. Ban fried chicken on the plane, please. And pajamas. People should not wear pajamas on the plane as well.
Agreed.
While you're at it, once you ban talking on speakerphone, like, in public,
yes,
that's just so annoying.
Oh my gosh! It's like, and they're not like they're conversations that should be private. Like, I've heard things on, like, speakerphone conversations that don't need to be heard by other people other than the person on the phone. It's like, you got to have some spatial awareness. Like, there are people around you that are hearing stuff that they don't need to be hearing, man. And you have your volume turned up on 98 of 100, and it's that's a pet peeve of mine. I've got a lot of pet peeves, but that's one of them.
That's a huge one. I don't understand. I don't need to know your whole life story.
Totally.
In the airport.
Holy mackerel, man.
Crazy.
And it's the same people that are clamoring on about privacy. Really? Like,
Yeah, it would be the same people, wouldn't it? You're right.
Yeah. Well, a couple of tidbits on the gallon of gas without looking. You guys know what the gallon of gas costs?
So 88, I believe I was either had my learner's permit at this time. And I swear when I bought gas, it was 82 cents a gallon. Now, I don't know what the nation average was, but I'm pretty sure in Corpus Christi, Texas, it was 82 cents.
82 cents. Keith?
I would say it's probably around 80 cents. Yeah.
80 cents. Yeah. The national average was $1.08. But
oh, wow.
I was kind of surprised. I thought that was kind of high because, Steve, I'm like you. I mean, my part of Texas that I lived in, Central Texas, it was 89, 88 cents. I mean, it was, not even close to $1. I remember vividly when it got to 99 or $1. It was like 1990, right before we went into Kuwait. And everybody was like, freaking out, like they reached $1. So, I thought that was interesting. And then without looking to like federal minimum wage, you guys remember what minimum wage is?
Oh my! I think my first job was $3.85.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No, mine was $3.75, my first job. But do you remember what it was in 88?
I would say $3.50.
No, $3.35.
No kidding.
Yeah. Wow. $3.35. I don't even know what it is. Can you all send this to the research department and find out what like the current minimum wage is today in 2023?
I believe $7.50 an hour.
Yeah, I was about to say I think it's
$7.25.
Yeah, it's roughly double what it was back then. But I thought that was interesting.
It's interesting about the minimum wage today because I don't know there's many businesses that actually pay at $7.25.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, every single McDonald's you drive by is 15 to 18 per hour.
It is.
And I know my former employer, they were $15 at a minimum. And so it's sort of weird that the country is lagged behind raising that. I don't know that we need to have a national wage of $15 an hour. A lot of people do, but it's a debate for another day. But at least get to $10 probably is where we need to be.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right, guys, I got a few 1988 quotes. These are famous quotes from the year 1988. Again, I will give you the quote, and then you tell me who you think it is, okay?
All right, fire away.
This first one's an easy. We'll start with an easy one. You guys should get this. Senator, you are no Jack Kennedy. Who said it, and who did he say it to?
Okay, so it was to Dan Quayle.
Okay. That part's right. Who
Texan.
Who said it?
Oh, Lloyd Benson.
Hey, there you go. Right.
Oh, good call.
Lloyd Benson was Michael Dukakis's VP candidate, or VP running mate, I guess is the right way to say that. And Dan Quayle was, of course, became our vice president in 1988, and that was during the debate. Lloyd Benson said to Dan Quayle, "Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy." All right, here's another.
I'll tell you that was a good one. I have to admit.
Do you remember the other? I hope I don't kill one of your talking points, but remember the scandal, or I guess the drama that Quayle created by how he spelled tomato and potato.
Potato, yeah,
potato.
So, Yep. Actually, ironically, that was one of the Wayback Chronicles tweets this last week, or of the week of June 17th, because it was on June 15th. June 15th, 1992. Dan Quayle, relying on a faulty card, erroneously instructs Trenton, New Jersey elementary student to spell potato with an E during the spelling bee. Yep.
Good old Dan Quayle.
And he was an idiot from that moment on.
Yeah.
He was.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, some of the politicians we have today, I would give money for this to be the dumbest thing they did was spell potato wrong. I would take it all day.
Yeah. Boy, isn't that the truth?
Holy mackerel, man. Jeez. All right, here's another one. I've got 4 more. All right. Read my lips. No new taxes.
Not good.
That was presidential candidate George Bush. That's actually the easiest one of this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, he was a liar. But,
yep.
Wait a minute. You're telling me a politician lied?
Yeah, I know. Shocker.
Yeah, that actually came back to haunt him in the 92 elections. If you guys remember that, Bill Clinton teed off on that. But anyway, all right. Here's the last one. The other two. Anyway, this is the last one. So. I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way. Remember that?
Jessica Rabbit.
That's right. Yep. If you've never seen the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it's a classic. It's a great movie. It was one of the first, I think, that actually incorporated like real film with cartoons and like mixed those together.
Yeah.
And it was really something. So Jessica Rabbit was actually a cartoon, and then Roger Rabbit was her husband, and he was also animated and stuff too. But it was a really creative movie.
Mhm.
Haven't watched that movie in years, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have, but
No, I haven't.
I'm sure it probably looks ridiculous compared to stuff we see today. But
It'd be fun to watch it again, though. It's
It would be.
I know we'll talk about in the TVs and movies episode, but that was actually the number 2 grossing U.S. box office movie in 1988. So
was it really?
Go figure. Yeah.
Interesting. That was kind of a segue into Steve's topic.
Yeah.
So, anything else, guys, you saw that was interesting in your notes?
So here's a fun fact where a competing group steals the show from somebody else. So don't know if you all knew this, but before 1988, Duracell had a mascot called the Duracell Bunny that debuted several years before the Energizer Bunny. And in 1988 was when Duracell's trademark had lapsed. And Duracell's North American rival Energizer obviously created the Energizer Bunny, and the rest, as they say, is history.
I never knew that. I never knew that. That's isn't that funny? Like Energizer was kind of sitting back watching Duracell, and then they waited for their trademark to lapse, and they snatched it up, and here comes the Energizer Bunny, and Duracell can't do anything about it because their trademark had expired. That's interesting.
That is wild. I can honestly say I do not remember a Duracell bunny, but I know the Energizer Bunny, and I can hear the thumping in my head as I'm talking right now.
Yeah, totally. Totally. It's iconic.
Yes.
So
no doubt about it.
The best-selling 1988 cars.
Oh yes.
Buick Skylark was the best-selling car.
Sweet ride.
Guess how much it cost?
I'm going to say, let's see, 88.
Mm-hmm.
13,000.
Brand new off the showroom floor. Buick.
13 grand.
Skylark. $11,306.
Wow.
And what about a Nissan Sentra? This is the second.
I remember how small those cars were.
Oh yeah.
9,000.
Wow. Close.
Yeah.
Steve, you have a guess?
I would have guessed what Keith said.
9,000. It's 7,866.
What?
Wow.
Oh my
$7,866. Can you imagine, man? Like
I feel like now for a fully loaded one of those, it'd be 78,000.
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
Especially these days. If it's but
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, today. Wow.
And in other kind of car related news, the Pontiac Firebird or the Pontiac announced it would stop production of the fire plagued Fiero.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you guys ever rode in a Fiero, but I had a good friend that I grew up with. He had a Fiero, and that thing was fast and furious and was fun. The motor was in the back, like it wasn't. Most all motors were in the front, or is either middle or was it middle or the back? It was in the back,
it was
right?
In the back, yeah.
But they stopped production. The first one was produced in 1983, and then they said that they stopped making them in 1988, or they announced they were going to stop making them. And also the Consumer Reports asked the federal government to stop making the Suzuki Samurais, which was a 4-wheel drive vehicle that the magazine had given an unacceptable rating to during the review. But I remember those things would turn over. We had I remember those things would turn over on a dime. So
I thought they were so cool, and I wanted one so bad.
Everybody did.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely ended up getting a Chevy Beretta, which is equally a lemon compared to that. But
a
chick
didn't
turn over.
But a chick magnet car, the Beretta.
100%.
I mean,
I like the Fieros. I always thought Fieros looked really cool.
Fieros look awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fiero sounded like a high-speed lawnmower. And there was actually one driving down the freeway the other day, and it looked like it actually had caught fire at one point, and they just didn't decided to clean it up. I mean, I was like, that's the one that started it all. The Fiero would be around if it wasn't for that car.
What would happen if a Fiero ran into a Pinto? That'd be an interesting one.
Oh,
fire on fire, man. Wow. It's a mushroom cloud.
Yeah, it is.
So was there ever an era where computers existed that we didn't have computer viruses?
There had to be a time when because they had. I mean, computer viruses are code, so I mean, they're people have. Short answer, yes, but I can't remember one.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really, I guess, one of the first known viruses were. It's called the Morris virus or Morris worm. It was one of the first computer worms distributed via the internet and launched from MIT. You know, those smart guys learned how to create chaos.
I think it's funny that they like claimed it. Like, oh yeah, that was us.
We were high five, guys.
We were bored on a Friday night. We decided to sit around and start programming stuff. We named after Morris. He's the Joker of the group.
You know, if someone's going to cause trouble, that's Morris. Good old Morris.
Oh, Morris, you Joker.
He's always been really humorous.
You got the laugh, Steve.
Did I do that?
I think we lost Keith.
He's down. He's down. Keep going. Oh, man.
I did not expect that.
That was a great voice, Noel. I mean, fantastic.
You like it? Oh, shoot.
Hugh Morris.
He's always the humorous one.
Oh, mercy.
That was a good one.
Stomach
I'm all right.
hurts. All right.
I'm all right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't have anything that can top that for 1988 pop culture.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap, fellas.
Good.
And I think one more little factoid, and then I think we should sign this off. But on September 29th, 1988, the Space Shuttle Discovery launched, and that was the first time that NASA put a space shuttle into orbit after the Challenger exploded. So
interesting.
Everybody,
I remember that day.
Yeah, I do too. And I remember holding my breath. You know,
I think everybody in the country did.
Yeah, go at throttle up. Those are those words that they said.
Oh yeah,
go at throttle up. 73 seconds into is when Challenger exploded, and then Discovery launched and without a hitch and got into space, and everybody breathed a collective sigh of relief. And
yes,
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what were those going through the astronauts' minds when they heard the go at throttle up. You know, they had to have a moment of massive tension because
their families. Can you imagine their families?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, man.
I'm really ready for us to start accelerating space exploration. It's it's always like been a pride point for our country, and you know Elon Musk and a couple of those other guys. They're making that happen. Definitely getting cargo back in. Technology back up in outer space, but I thought we'd be on Mars by now. And it's time for us to get after that.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think it's too far off, but yeah, I'd like to see some really cool things like that happen in our lifetime. It's been a long gap between. I mean, that was a huge point of pride in the late 60s, early 70s, the Apollo missions and all that. So I'm going to get to go down to the NASA Center down in Houston. We stand down there next week, and I just love going down there. I just always feel so much pride when I go around that area. And so I'm with you, Steve. I'm ready for that excitement to come back. I think it's time. Definitely.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, hey, good research, fellas. This was a good one.
Yeah,
great laughs as well.
You got a new voice. Hey.
So which one are we teeing up next? What's the next episode?
I'd say we either do TV and movies or music.
Let's do it. I say let's do it.
You want to do a coin flip?
Let's do it.
Steve just laid out all the options right there.
I know. There you go.
Or it's like get me and Keith to go to the episodes.
It's like asking your wife, where do you want to go eat? Well, we can go have a burger or we can go have a pizza. Okay. What do you want to go to? Where do you want to go eat? I don't know.
It's up to you.
Yeah,
Whatever
you want.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Keith, call in the air. If
Okay.
you call it, then we pick you. Okay. If you
Okay.
don't call it, then we'll go with me.
Okay, fair enough. What am I calling?
Heads or tails?
Hey, let's see. Heads.
It's tails.
Okay, so that means it's TV and movies, right?
Yeah, TV movies.
Okay, TV and movies up next. That's good.
Awesome.
That took way too damn long to get through that.
So that worked. Probably let the robot make that decision for us.
Yeah, probably so, but that's good. I like it. TV and movies coming up next. Looking forward to it, fellas.
Sounds good, guys.
All right. Steve, who wants to wrap it up?
Okay, bye. We miss y'all already. Please come back.
Yeah.
Listen,
See you soon.
listen to Steve's host episode.
Bye. Oh, gosh.
All right. Seriously. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. This was 1988 pop culture. Nice job, Noel. That was fun. A lot of great things. 1980 was a great year. 80s were all fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, just adding on to the greatness of the 80s with that episode. So thanks, Noel.
Yep.
Everybody, thanks for listening to the Wayback Chronicles. We'll see you way back soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Wayback Chronicles. All shows are written and produced by Noel, Keith, and Steve. Massive thanks to those who made these memories possible for us through the years. All songs, sounds, and effects have been attributed in the comments section and through links listed on waybackchronicles.podbean.com. We look forward to taking you way back again in the very near future.